Food is more than just food. Besides our instinct to survive and eat to get the nutrition and necessary fuel, food is also our culture. Food is traditions, celebrations, meaningful events. Food is family, friends, and memories. We eat to celebrate, we eat when we get sad. We eat to fill a void, we eat when we get bored. Food can mean happiness. Food can mean avoidance. We associate things with food. Food makes us remember. Food makes us forget. Restriction or overindulgence? Which one do you choose? Obsession, control, good food, bad food, clean food, toxic food. Are you feeling sad? Eat some ice cream. Are you feeling happy? Eat some cake. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you eating? What's wrong with you? Why are you eating so much? You don't want to eat. You're so close to your goal. Wow, I can see your bones. Eat something. Too much. Too little. Too healthy. Too unhealthy. Too restrictive. Too unrestrictive. In a society where everything revolves around consumption and comparing, can you build a good relationship with food that is just your own? Hi and welcome to my channel. As the intro and video title already suggests, today I will be talking about how to build a healthy relationship with food. Now, before I start, I want to talk a little bit about my own history with food, just to give you and this video a bit of perspective. I grew up relatively healthy. As any normal kid, I would eat junk food, but I would also eat a lot of healthy food. Only in high school, I started to really pay attention to nutrition, and I started to look into foods and what do some foods do to our body and what others do. With all of that, I became more and more interested in nutrition. When I was studying in uni, I moved away from my friends, my family, my boyfriend, because I was studying in the UK, and I basically left everything back home. And although those 3 years were amazing, really, when I look back, an amazing experience, and I met so many wonderful people that many of them I'm still close friends with, and it was an amazing time. But my first uni year was hard. It was really hard to be away from everyone, and basically food became my comfort. If I would feel sad, I would eat. If I would get stressed, I would eat. If I would be bored, I would eat. In my head, I would also have colors for food, like red, yellow, green. So green is good and red is bad and yellow is like in the middle. I was just not in a good place with food. It came to a point where I felt like food is completely controlling my life. It's controlling my decisions. It's affecting my relationships. So I did what any normal, regular human being would do. I went on Google and I wrote down words, how to have a healthy relationship with food. Or maybe I wrote down how to know if you have an unhealthy relationship with food. I think I did that. So the first book I found that resonated with me was Eat What You Love, Love What You Eat by Michelle May, and I ordered it online. I always will remember that moment because that book was the turning point for me. I remember receiving the book and opening it and feeling like this book is written for me. I started to do the exercises that she said that you have to do and different little things, and step by step I climbed out of my unhealthy thoughts. I also want to add, this wasn't a read a book and you're done. A book, always, any kind of knowledge, any kind of resource, it is a toolbox. It's up to you and what you do with those tools. So I read the book, I think it was 4 years ago. It took me around 2.5, 3 years to really heal myself and be in a good mental space. But I'm sure there are people who need way more time. So it depends, I guess, on your personality and how long you've been in that mental space. So you might be thinking, well, how did you get to a point where you feel happy with your relationship with food? Well, that leads us to the next part of this video, which is giving you the 10 ways and 10 tips that helped me the most, that I hope might help you to enhance your relationship with food. I feel like even if you don't have a necessarily food disorder or an unhealthy relationship with food, we can always learn, we can always grow in any relationship. So let's start with the tips. So the first way to enhance or heal in your relationship with food is to seek guidance, and that is books, doctors, lectures, coaches, whatever that means to you. For some people who feel like they really can't manage on their own, seeing a therapist, seeing a doctor is an amazing thing. Never underestimate how other people can help you. I am a very, very proud person, and that is not a good thing. I rarely accept help, even from very, very close people to me. I like to do things all by myself, and it is not easy, and it often makes my life harder. So if you're able to ask for help and really seek out help, that is amazing, and that is always the first step to have a good relationship with food. The second step is a very crucial one, and that is educate yourself on nutrition. There is no way how to have a good relationship with food without even understanding what is food and what it does to your body. It doesn't mean you have to be a nutritionist or a dietitian, although it can help if you can go see a professional, but it just means that you have to have a basic understanding of what you need for your body. Your body is a vehicle. It can only move forward and move well with the right fuel. And it's important for you to understand what is that fuel and how much of what you need. So again, research, read. I really, really recommend reading, if you do that, from already dietitians or doctors or people who understand about food. Internet is a very slippery slope. Everyone is a specialist, right? Everyone has an opinion on food. Nowadays, you can find so many different things. So if you can, seek out a professional and talk to them. If you can't, or if you want to save money, at least find these resources online. You know, the more you read on nutrition, the more you're interested in nutrition, you kind of develop this connection between food and your body. And I feel like that's an amazing thing, because you want to get to a place where you want to fuel your body. The third way is to learn how to deal with your emotions and not eat them. This was a big one for me. As I mentioned at the start of the video, food was my comfort. If I would feel sad, I would eat. If I would feel stressed, I would eat. So I never even thought about the idea of dealing with my emotions differently. And I will tell you, when I did think about that, and when I did start to really listen to myself and feed myself in the area that I needed, so not the stomach, it was hard. It was hard because I was so used to the fact that if something is hurtful, there's a cookie, you know, there's a candy or whatever. And the thing is, if you're not eating from hunger, how will you ever feel full? So this is an immensely important point. If you feel like reaching for whatever it is you're reaching for when you're sad, do this exercise. Slow down, take a breath, and ask yourself, what am I sad for, angry for, stressed about? What am I actually needing? Because food, that is just, how do you call it? There's a word in Latvian, plaks, that's, oh, a Band-Aid, right? But it's a Band-Aid on like a broken arm. It's not gonna do anything. You need like a professional help. I don't know if this is a good metaphor, but I tried. So instead, deal with yourself, deal with those emotions. And if you can, feed the area that really needs feeding, deal with it. Learn to soothe yourself with your thoughts, with your emotions itself, not an outside thing. So it's up to you to really dig deep to understand what are these things that are triggering your response to go for food even when you're not hungry. I completely love this summer, but inside, it's so hot. But let's move on. The fourth point, the fourth way to improve your relationship with food. Question the food police. Now, what do I mean by that? There will be so many people in your life that will have opinion about what you eat and how much you should eat and what you shouldn't eat and what is good and what is healthy. And you'll meet those people who have heard from someone who has heard something from someone that this specific food is bad and you shouldn't eat it. And the thing is, a lot of these people come from a good place. Absolutely, I believe it. But it is dangerous, especially if those it is dangerous, especially if those people are not doctor. I'll give you one example, and that is gluten. This is widely discussed, you know, everywhere I go, I hear gluten-free. I hear people who say how gluten is so bad, you shouldn't have it, it will activate all these illnesses and so on and so forth. And then I hear the other side, you know, or doctors or dietitians or regular people saying, if you don't have an allergy to gluten, you'll be fine. And there are a lot of great benefits to wholemeal bread and dark bread and so on and so forth. So why am I mentioning this? There will be people and there will be trends that don't necessarily align with your diet. And you have to build a strong foundation within yourself and within your menu to really know when you should listen and take things into account and when you should just kind of listen, nod, but stay true to yourself. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm pro-gluten or against gluten. This was not the point. I just mentioned it as an example. There will be people who will give you different comments and thoughts on your food choices that are not based on any science at all. So question the food police, trust research, and trust yourself. The fifth way is eat with no distractions. Now, I do this from time to time, and I did this a lot at the beginning of my healing journey. Often when we watch TV or we eat in a rush or we, you know, do other things, we don't even pay attention to our food. If we don't pay attention to our food, it's more likely we don't pay attention to our body and how we feel when we're eating the food. It's harder to see little tiny cues of when your body is saying, I'm actually full, I'm okay, I don't want to eat anymore. When you do sit down with just your bowl or plate of food and you have no TV or nothing, maybe you even can sit in the nature. I think that is the most, I mean, that alone is relaxing. You sit down with your food and you take a bite and you taste it and you just sit there. You breathe and you eat. It is the most relaxing thing you could do, and it is so good for your digestive system to not rush, to not be in stress. These little things help you be mindful about your food, help you be mindful about what you eat and how much you actually want to eat. It's important to listen to your body while you're eating, to avoid any distractions, to just be present. Then, when you feel more comfortable, obviously you can incorporate some movies and TV shows. I do this a lot. I love to watch something and eat. I just love it. But the point is to from time to time, to at least give yourself a break from anything and just be there with your food. The sixth one, acknowledge your fears around food. I think this might be one of the most important ones that helped me. I was always restricting myself, and restriction always led to overeating. I felt like food is controlling me. My fear was that I will not be able to stop. My fear was that food will always control me. And the thing is, if you feed into that fear becomes the truth. One of the most amazing exercises that I ever did, and I still actually do it from time to time if I see an unhealthy pattern crawling out of somewhere, is challenge your fear and do what you're fearful of. I remember I was reading the book, Eat What You Love What You Eat, and it said if you are afraid to overindulge into something, or you always crave something and you never have it, or you have it but then you overeat and then you restrict it over again and you're in this cycle, go to the store, buy that thing or buy as much as you want, and eat as much as you want. This scared me. This scared me so much. I was like, no, 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 I can't. If I buy Oreos, it was my thing, I will eat packs and packs of Oreos. And guess what happened? I went to the store, I bought the Oreos, I ate them all, like 3 packs. Back then I was still counting calories and I counted all the calories and I was like, shit, this is bad, this is bad. And guess what? Over time, I got tired of Oreos. A thing that was controlling me, a thing that I always thought I can never have, I no longer wanted it because I gave myself permission to have it whenever I want. I dealt with my fear of overindulging by indulging. And again, this might not work for everyone. This is my own personal journey, but this is what I've found to be true. And I've talked to many girlfriends and many women, and most of the time they crave the thing that they have said to themselves that they can't have. My fear around food, of not stopping over not, eating perfectly or whatever, those fears have passed away because I don't give them power. You have to work with yourself all the time. Do you see the common pattern in these tips? Working with yourself internally? That could have been one tip, but that wouldn't have been interesting. So let's move on to the next tip. So, the seventh way how to build a healthier relationship with your food is to pay attention to the language you use when talking about food. This is a big one. I used to use words like good, bad. I even mentioned the colors I would give food, like green is good and red is bad. I would say clean and toxic and cleanse. Good and bad has a moral value, and food doesn't have a moral value. Food can be healthy, food can be unhealthy, food can be nutritious and less nutritious. It can be good or bad. It is food. When I talk about food, if it's not that healthy, I will say this is not as healthy, but I will not say good or bad. So pay attention to how you talk about food, and also pay attention how you talk about yourself regarding food. So your words are powerful. If you want to feel good about your food choices, about yourself regarding food, start to talk well about yourself. Stop saying, I can't stop, I will overeat, I have to restrict, and replace those words with, I honor myself, I honor my body, I honor my hunger, and this food has no moral value, it's just food. It might be less healthy, it might be healthy, but it doesn't have moral value. The eighth way is to stop punishing or rewarding yourself when it comes to food. Some people do this and they can still be in a healthy space. So again, this is very individual. If you feel fine with doing that, then it works for you. For me, it didn't work. If I would allow certain foods for myself only when I did something good, then again, that would mean that I restrict these foods and I don't eat them in my daily life. Or vice versa, if I would feel, bad about something and I would punish myself and say, you can only eat this now because you ate so much of that tasty stuff before. No, I don't do that, and I don't recommend doing that to anyone. Some of you might think, well, if I don't restrict, then I'll want this one food all the time. At the start, that might be the case, but a lot of our unhealthy habits come from an unhealthy place. A lot of us have gone through trauma regarding food. Maybe someone said something to you when you were younger regarding your looks or your eating habits, and now you're in this bad place. So you might feel like you need to punish yourself when you eat something bad, and you need to reward yourself when you do something good. But again, coming from a personal experience, that gives food power over you, and I don't like that. I don't believe that that's the way to live. So quit the punishing, quit the rewarding. The next one is respect your hunger as well as respect your satiety. Respect towards your body is a journey on itself. And that is, again, individual to each and every one of us. But if you learn to respect your hunger, you learn how to eat when you are hungry. And vice versa, you learn to stop when you're full. In the book that I read, Eat What You Love, Love What You Eat, she gives specific exercises and ways on how you can do it. One way is to kind of measure your hunger in a scale from 1 to 10 and learning to feel which number is when, learning to really listen how hungry you are at certain times. That alone will teach you how to start listening to your body. If you are dealing with problems of stopping when eating, if you feel like you can just eat and eat and eat and eat, you have to ask yourself at one point, are you even eating out of hunger? Because sometimes if you're feeding another place in yourself, you won't feel full because it wasn't even the reason why you started eating. You weren't even hungry. You were, let's say, really sad. And as long as you're sad, you keep eating. So the next time you do feel like reaching for food, take a small pause and just evaluate. Am I hungry or am I looking for something else actually, but that food could give it to me? You can overeat. It is a choice. It is up in your hands, but it has to be your choice. You have to feel like this is not the food that controls me. I am choosing to eat more because I enjoy this evening, because there are so many lovely people I enjoy to eat, so I am choosing to overeat. I've said this many times by now, but all of this is journey. All of this is individual. I can't tell you specifically how to do it. Learn to really honor your body and learn to be in charge. And the 10th and final way how you can build a healthier relationship with your food is to remember that you are just a human. This might seem very obvious, or for some it might seem like that's not even a step, but sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. You know, in our relationships, in our career, in our personal lives, we think we have to live up to a personal standard. Those standards, that pressure just makes us feel more stressed. And that can affect many different areas in our life, including our relationship with food. So remember that you are a human, you will make mistakes, that is completely fine. All of us, wherever we are in our journey with food, we can grow, we can be better. And for some, restriction might mean being healthier, and for some, restriction might mean being less healthy. So this is what I mean. Your health, your food, it is very personal to you, and I encourage all of you to find the way that works for you. I hope this video helped you in some way. I hope this made you feel less fearful about food and feel like it controls you. I hope for some of you this video maybe encourage you to read up on nutrition and maybe get healthier and learn more about different types of foods and so on and so forth. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for devoting your time, and bye.